Hey everybody, welcome back to another video. Hope you guys been enjoying the content on the channel as of late. Another one of these driving videos just because I'm in the midst of just doing some stuff. So if you excuse the just the attitude of the video and anything like that, hopefully you guys can hear me, because I know sometimes these videos can get a little hard to hear. So just crank up the volume if you can't hear me. But I'm off to, you guessed it, repair my car again, because I got an issue now with my brake pads. So, you know, hey, life is life, you know. While I'm driving, I just wanted to do this this video on actors. Now, we just did a video on the term black actor, and we talked about just how silly it is to just associate someone by that kind of term. And ultimately, like, I say that actors just stay in their lane. I just don't, I don't see the need for you to be labeling yourself that way, or to start some stupid political discussion or whatever, or even further than that, which is what this video is getting involved in certain areas in production when you really didn't have to, which is the case with actually a handful of actresses that I just read about over the past couple of days. So the first one I want to talk about is Julia Roberts. Apparently she was going to be in Shakespeare in Love, which is a film I actually have never seen. But she was going to take over the Gwyneth Paltrow part. And I guess she had an issue with the director, stating that she wanted Daniel Day-Lewis to be starring in it, and she was like trying to coordinate with Daniel Day-Lewis, trying to get him on board. And at one point he might have said yes, but then everything fell apart. And Julia Roberts, instead of just doing what she needs to do as a performer, basically what she was signed on to do, she decides to basically jeopardize the audition process, not put in her best effort, and basically just sounds all pouty and shit, just because she didn't get what she wanted. So even though it's not her fucking movie. So and this is a thing that I've noticed with actors a lot lately, is that they like to manhandle these projects. They like to just take command of it, when at the end of the day, it is not your fucking movie, okay? I'm all about being inclusive. If I was working on a set, I try to be as inclusive as possible. I don't try to be that guy or whatever like that. I try to always be cool with the other cast members and shit like that, Or if I'm directing something, I try to be, as inclusive as I can be. I have been, a bit harsh in the past. I'm not saying that I'm squeaky clean. I've definitely made my mistakes. But you strive to be inclusive. You strive to be, you try to let everyone have their moment to shine, or at least have their voice heard in some capacity. But we are independents, we're little indies, we're this and that. I'm not even an indie, I'm like a student, and we can get away with that because it's just 5 or 6 people working on stuff, more likely your friends. In this capacity, though, that is not the case. You're working with big corporations, Hollywood suits, executives, all this kind of shit. So when you try to put your voice into the actors mainly, when you try to put your voices out there, it doesn't look like, oh, look at her, she's trying to put her voice out there. No, you're now jeopardizing a business decision. You're jeopardizing what has been laid out, what has been coordinated, what has been what has been discussed, contracts been laid out, all that shit. That's what's ultimately happening. And there's just this entitlement that's always with these actors. They always think that because they have a certain popularity, or because they have a certain amount of money, they think they can just get away with that shit, and they think that it's just okay, And it's really not, you know. I think that it's just not cool, you know. Like, again, if I was in such a privileged privileged, I mean, I don't know, it's, we've talked about how Hollywood is, but if I were in a position like that where I had a lot of money and all that sort of stuff, and if I had a boss, unless the boss is directly affecting me as a person, I have no quarrel. I don't need to, I don't need to say anything, And most of the times when these actors, do these sort of things, they there's never any issues prior, They make it out like where there is, but there isn't. There is no real issues to speak of. The only issues that they have is that, oh, well, it's not the version I thought of, or it's not the version I wanted, and it's just like, for me, if like, my personal feeling on that, when someone says that, it's like, it's not my version of the character. It's like, well, yeah, it certainly isn't, because it's not your fucking movie. You're not directing it, you're not producing it. So all that you're saying is just like, it's just bullshit, because you're not here to direct the thing. You're here to act it out based on another person's vision. A vision would, mind you, that most times they have already agreed on to do. So they've read the script, they've seen what that version looks like. So for them to then make demands on the day of production or just within production, it's just so ridiculous. Like, they did this shit with Jenna Ortega, apparently admitted to this recently with the Wednesday show. I guess she just admitted, like, yeah, I was talking to the writers during production. We rewrote a few things here or there, or at least she was, again, kind of like taking control of a certain thing. But I think in her case, she actually admitted that was wrong. So, props to her. But it goes beyond that. You go beyond like writing clashes. There's like just involvement in general with a project. Like, look at Dwayne Johnson with Black Adam. Like how he was trying to like force the DC universe into like a Black Adam sort of thing with like a Superman project going at it. Him and Superman going at it at one point, and then all these things going on with like the other writers and executives, like, as an actor, your job only is to emote and to like present a character, like that's all you're supposed to do. Your job, unless you have other credits, or unless you're a producer, unless you're a writer, unless you're a director, unless you have any of these other things attached to you. I just think that when these actors come out and they like, say all this and that, like, I think like Michelle Yeoh and what's his name, Donnie Yen, they also had issues with like their scripts. They demanded rewrites because they saw stereotypes for some reason, like Asian stereotypes in their in those scripts. Again, if it's directly affecting you, because that's not directly affecting them, that's just their insecurities talking. Like, if it's something that's directly affecting you, where you can actually get hurt, or something it makes you feel genuinely uncomfortable, but in a reasonable manner, only then do I say speak up. But if it's not, then just be quiet. Like, really, just be quiet. Like, I'm sorry. Like, I know that might be a little harsh, but like, it's just stupid when these actors bring either their own politics, their own bias, their own agendas. Like, it gets so stupid. And to see that sometimes when the studios actually do bend the knee for that shit, it's just like, no, just stick to business. Like, just, I get it, it's all to be politically correct and whatever other terminology you want to throw at this, but creativity should not be done like this, like I just see it so many times with actors. They're just like, oh, this character sucked, but when I came in and rewrote it, then it became a lot better. You know what I'm saying? Like, that kind of mentality, that ego thing that's happening. Like, and who's to say that your rewrites are better? Who is to say that your rewrites will actually help a character? Like, maybe it'll actually make them worse. So, like, like it's sort of kind of sort of narcissistic. We know narcissism runs rampant in Hollywood, but it's like, you know, it just rubs me the wrong way when I see actors do this sort of stuff. It's such a common practice, you know, a lot of actors with certain kinds of privileges or popularity or just power in general, they will make these demands when it's like, you agreed to make that version of the movie, you know what I mean? Like, it's different if you guys had discussions prior to production, you know. I get if you like had discussions with the writer and director saying, hey, look, I actually am interested to do this project, but I'm curious if we can maybe make these kinds of changes, you know, actually being collaborative, you know. My voice just broke. I don't know what just happened there. But actually being collaborative, you know, like, so that in that capacity, I could see where that might make sense, because you're coordinating, you're making sure that stuff gets done before you go into production, you know, like, that I actually would be like okay with. But when you're out here like filming it and you're then making these demands, you know, you're just saying all this nonsense and letting your bias and narcissism and all that like take priority, and then again these people just bend the knee because of the power that they have. It's just really, it's kind of slimy. It's kind of just like, you know, like, again, like, it's just more to the reason why I am glad I'm on the path that I am right now with just my own personal journey. I'm really glad that I've, you know, am not attached to the whole Hollywood thing. Not saying that I had a chance to like get in or whatever, but, you know, just I'm glad that I didn't take the opportunities that I did have at the time, because I really don't want to end up being like any of these people, you know. Like, I don't want to develop any form of narcissism. I mean, I have that instilled in me because of my past, but it's like, I'm just really happy that I was put on a different path, you know, because this is narcissism. This is, you know, agendas, ego talking, you know, like, and for me, it should not, like, you should not have to bend the knee. Like, you really shouldn't. Like if it were me, I would say, fuck off. This is my vision. Okay, if you have something that might contribute to the script, yeah, I'll maybe consider it. But we're here fucking filming, okay? So you're out here wanting to change the whole fucking script? Get the fuck out of here. You know what I'm saying? Or make these big ass demands. Like, no. When we're filming, we are filming what we've agreed to film. You know what I mean? We're not here to make these big ass changes. So you can take your agenda elsewhere. You know? Because I wouldn't tolerate that shit. I'd be fine with it when we're prepping, but not when we're fucking filming, which is what a lot of these actors like to do. So, I mean, yeah, like, I believe in inclusivity, but I also believe in like discipline and, you know, understanding your place, and also just, you know, just being grateful, you know, like, really be grateful that you got to work on a set like this, and you're making the kind of money that you're making, and then, you know, you're then just going to come out here saying, well, actually, that doesn't suit well to my head's telling me that the character shouldn't be like this. Like, just stop. Just take your money. Be happy that you're at least, you know, that you're at least on a set. You know, just take your agenda out of here, please, because I'm just getting real tired of seeing that. It's just, you know, it affects, you know, like, the mentality of a production, and it also, you know, brings up another point that I brought up previously. There is such a thing as favoritism on production. You know, we talked about this previously. There are writers, directors, actors, and producers. Those are your four big. That's your Mount Rushmore. You know, and the rest are disposable. They're replaceable. You know, and people don't want to admit to that, but that's true. People are replaceable. And if you're not one of those four, I mean, even those four can be replaced, but those are your assets, you know? And because of that, they get, a lot more chances to speak their voice and do all these other things. And while I agree that that is how it should be, I also think I have to disagree in that just because that they have bigger voices does not mean that you have to listen to them, and have to do what they're asking. Let me clean that up. Actually, yeah, listen to them, but you don't have to do what they're saying. I get it, the fear, the power. I get it, the power that they have, or just the fear of losing an asset. I get it, but it's like you're messing with creativity, man. And it sets a bad precedent for productions. I know some people will spin this whole thing and say it as like, oh no, it's a female or whatever should be able to speak. It's not a female or man, whatever fucking issue you want to throw up. It's not, okay? What it is people not understanding their place, Because I'm not saying that they need to shut their face. I'm just saying that they shouldn't expect their requests to be met because they are not in a certain kind of position for that sort of thing to be granted, okay? They're an actor. They're there to read lines. They're not the writer. They're not the director. They're not an executive producer or whatever like that. They're just there to read the lines. That's what they're being paid to do. So when you go outside of what your job asks you to do, yeah, it's like you're outside of your bound. You're outside of your boundaries. What you were brought on to do. So just scared the shit out of me with those guys. I don't know what the fuck that was. But that's my take on actors when they, make these kinds of demands and, say this and that, oh, I want to change the script, or I want to change the story, or I want to do this and that. It's really not your place. And, unless you're directing it or you wrote it, just stay out of it. Just accept what you agreed on. I mean, is that, that just sounds so funny to me. It's like, accept what you agreed on. You get what I'm saying? It's not like that they gave these people a script and then they went, oh, gotcha, now it's a different script. It's like, no, what you are working with is what you were pitched, and what you read is what you got to memorize. It's like, I'm all for voices being included, and I've actually have found that hearing voices on set actually enhance your story or enhance your production. But that's works well for people like us, people who don't have to worry about business or money or studio heads. There's not the pressures of that. For these people, there is that. So, for people thinking about emotions, thinking about this and that, this is a business, okay? We're not here to talk about your own personal agendas. We're not. We're here to make a film that will hopefully make money, and hopefully we all gain leverage from it, and hopefully we make money off of it, and hopefully we go forward and get better jobs from this, that's the ultimate goal when working in Hollywood, is just to gain leverage and shit. So it's it's just, I see this a lot, and I'm just curious, what do you guys think? Do you guys see this often? Because I see it a lot. I see a lot of people bring this shit up, changing scripts because of this or that, because of insecurities or whatever. It's like just fuck off, you know what I mean? It's like, if you're upset about it, then why'd you sign on for it? Why'd you sign on for it? Kind of makes you look like a hypocrite, doesn't it? So, if you're gonna bitch and complain, why'd you sign on for it? And I don't want to hear, well, I had to. No, you didn't have to. You could have said no. And instead, you chose to say yes. More than likely because that's where the money's at. It's most likely attached to a franchise that will give you leverage. So, yeah, so I know why you signed on for it. So don't sit there and be like, well, you know, I just didn't like the script. That no, you saw opportunity within that script, and also to a certain measure, you do like the script, you know. So, like, you know, so I don't buy that nonsense. So, you know, I don't buy like, you know, that kind of thing that they sometimes bring up too. So, but you guys let me know your thoughts on this whole actor thing. You know, do you guys think that they're full of shit, or do you guys think that they have some kind of some legitimacy to what they're saying? Like, you guys let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. And that's gonna be it for me, guys. I am pulling up to my mechanic, so we're gonna see what the fuck is going on with my brake pads. Hopefully I made my point clear. I think I might have, like, hopefully I didn't misspoke at the end. Hopefully that was made clear about the whole actors and like the way they justify their reasoning behind why they take on certain scripts. You know what I mean? Hopefully that was made clear. Hopefully, but you guys know your thoughts in the comment section below. And that's gonna be it for me, guys. Thank you guys for tuning in. This is kind of a long video. My apologies. Hopefully we'll have a review out pretty soon. Just, you know, just life is life, man. But you guys let me know your thoughts, and that's gonna be it for me, guys. I will catch you guys in the next video. Bye.